Hi guys, welcome to another video of Node Express MongoDB. In this video, I will be writing some code to perform the CRUD operations in my Node Express server. So in the last video, I created this small Express server. I added few routes and tested these routes on the browser by sending out few of the messages and setting up the status of the response, right? So in this video, I will be using a kind of data. You can consider this data a DB for now, but I have placed this data in the form of JSON file. You can pause this video and just write it down. It is for the notes data, but later on, after around 7 or 8 videos, I'll be creating actual database in MongoDB, and where I'll be dynamically creating all this content. Okay, but currently, just to build some logic over here, I will let you know how to read the data from here, how to write all the nodes, how to update, delete the nodes, and also how to get the single node from it based upon the ID, right? So first of all, I'll be using the FS package, which we have been using throughout this course. So const fs equals to require fs, and next thing we need is UUID, but let's move further from here. So now I'm going to create a middleware, and this middleware is used to parse the JSON data which is coming from any external resource. So I'll let you know what do I mean by this. So express.json. So let's say we have a post request, and in the post request, we can get the data from external resource in the request object. And for us to actually convert this request object into a JSON, this is the middleware of this Express server to be added with all the requests that is added using this app variable. Okay, so this is required, and you actually need to add it wherever you need to create the server of Express, right? So now let's move further. I'm going to make changes a bit since this is the for the notes data. So I want to start all the APIs with the API keyword after that, and after that, usually what happens is when we are building a large APIs, then we add the variants as well, that this is the documentation of APIs of V1 or V2, V3. But since this is the Notes API and this is for the tutorial, so I won't be using the versioning in my API route. So after that, I'll be using the tours. So this will become the localhost 4000 slash API slash tour. This will become our API for getting all the tours. Okay. So inside this, I'm going to first get the data of all the tours from this file. Okay, again, later on after 7 or 8 videos, I'll be using real database, real MongoDB, and fetch the tours data. Just for elaboration, I'll be using this file to show you how to fetch the data and perform all the CRUD operations in the Express routes. Basically, we are creating the REST APIs using Express. So I'm using const tours equals to, and now I'm going to parse it. So whenever we fetch the data from whether the API, from the database, or from any external file or a local file, which is notes.json in our case, we need to parse it because by default it's in the form of string. Okay, so fs read file sync, and now just as this is what we have been doing before as well. So now our data is in directly over here. So directory name and then the notes.json. So now what we can do is this is the data we were already sending, and then inside it we can actually send the tours in the form of object. Okay, so I'm going to change this message to success, and now I'm going to save this file. So I will let you know now that how we can test this actually. We can actually test this in our browser as well. Also, it will not always be a browser, because in the browser, um, at the end of this crash course, we will be making our backend secure with some authentication keys, and it will be used by our front end applications, by any external resource. So we need to add some authentication. So I will be explaining you a tool, something called a postman, and I hope that you're already aware of this. So postman actually used to perform different operations, to test the APIs, to organize your APIs, and this is mainly for documentation of your APIs. If you have built the backend and want to give the documentation of each API you have built, you can create that in the postman. You can create its account over here, and all of your data will be synced in your account. You can add the mock servers environment, so you can look into it. But for now, in this video, I my purpose is only to actually create some collections and requests and test the APIs which I am building. Okay, so now this is what I've already added. Once you will install this Postman in your system, in the right left window, you need to first create a new collection, right? And click on it. It will create a new collection from here, or you can just click on this plus button and it will let you create a new collection. You can name this. This is the new collection I've already created, Node Express Mongo Bootcamp 2023. And inside it, once this folder is created, you need to right click on it and click on add request. Okay, once the add request is created, this will you will find see this thing, and then you can change its name from here, or right click rename. And I have named it get notes, because this request I have created is to test my gets notes API. Okay, so then from here I can set the request type, which is get, and then I have set the complete URL of my API. So this is my uh, server location, localhost colon 4000, and this is after this. So localhost 4000 slash API slash nodes. This is what I have built. Uh, it's not towards, it's actually nodes. Okay, so now I'm going to create the nodes. So if I click on send, I'm not running any backend server. So in my terminal, I'm going to navigate to that folder, and let's go inside 11. And now I'm going to run index.js. Okay, so my server is running on port 4000. Now let's go ahead and test this API from here. So let's send. And now guys, you can see that it has fetched the data from that file, and our API is working perfectly, and it's sending us the message data, and data contains the tours array, and this is what we have stored over here. Okay, and we have named it data and then the tours. Okay, so our get request is working fine. Let's move ahead and create a post request as well, and it will just be the method change. In Express, we can also copy the same thing over here. Post request will be a bit lengthy, because we need to create the data, right? So now, uh, first of all, you can see that there is an ID key added over here. So by default, when we will be using MongoDB, it will by default be creating this ID keyword and assigning it a default value. I don't want to create it. I just want to show you a one awesome package, which is called UUID, and that creates the ID for you automatically, unique ID. If there are thousands of data in your DB, then it helps you create unique IDs. So npm install UUID. So while it's installing, let's import it. So const and then I can give it a version. So v4 is the version UUID v4, and then I need to require it from the UUID. Okay, and in the post requests, I can actually create a new ID equals to UUID v4. All right. And whenever this API is going to hit, it's going to generate a new unique ID for you. It will be a long, around like 15 to 20 characters length. So it will get created. Okay. So first of all, what we need to do is to fetch this data, because we are actually using this file, and we will be needing to perform some extra step which later on won't be needing for us. Okay, but this is for the learning purpose. I would request you guys to actually keep up with me, and this is good thing for you guys that you are learning this stuff as well. So I'm just going to copy this line and paste it over here. So I fetched all the current words in the file currently. So now I need to uh, get the data which is coming from whoever is requesting this API, right? So there is an object called request.body, and the request.body is going to show me, let me log the request, console.log request.body. Okay, so requested body is going to show me all the data which is coming from the request object and whoever is calling this API from the external resource. Okay, so first of all, let's log it out and try to see if it works fine over here or not. So I'm just going to run the server. So my server is running on port 4000, and now let's go to the postman. So there is one API I've already created, post notes, and here I need to go to, this is the post request. I have selected it post requests, and uh, here I need to go to the body, and inside it I can select one object and paste it over here. I don't want to pass an ID because it will be automatically generated. Okay, so I can name it node. Okay, I will leave other property values as it is, right? So I'm going to save it, and let's hit send. So you can send post request to this endpoint, which is coming from this response. And now you can see that this is the object it has logged, and this is from the request.body, right? So it's going to it should be a single post that needs to be added over here. So I'm going to use this object coming from request.body and utilize it and update this file by updating this array actually. Okay, so first of all, what we need to do is we need to uh, create a new object and uh, add an ID which you have generated over here with the data coming from the request.body. So I'm going to create const new note. So it's actually the notes over here. So new node and then object dot assign, and I'm going to give it a name ID, and after that I can give it a request.body. Okay, So now the new node is going to have an ID key as well, along with the other keys, which is logged over here. And this new object will be created. Now I need to move this new object within this nodes array, which I have fetched from this nodes file. Okay. So now what I can do is I can do nodes.push, which is a simple function, new node. All right. And now I need to update this file with this new updated array. So in order to update this file, I can again write fs.write file, and then I can write the same syntax, which is the dir name, and then it's in the notes.json. After that, I need to pass the two notes. The reason I again write the word tour because I was building another project, and the tour word is in my mind. So just ignore it. So I'll try to keep writing notes. Uh, so error, and now if there is an error, it will throw it, right? And after this, I need to send this response. Actually, I'm going to copy this success response from here and I'm going to paste over here. So it's actually the 201 response, and then there has to be a success message and then the tours again. Okay, so I'm going to remove this, right? And I hope that it is going to work. So, so this is the notes. Actually, I need to convert it in the JSON stringify because it's not in the form of strings. While we need to update this file, we need to convert it in the form of strings. So let's save it, and I'm going to run this server again. So notes and this is running on the port 4000. Now let's go and check by running this send. There is an error, reference error, dir name is not defined. Oh, I forgot underscore underscore. Okay, so let's run it again. Let's go and send it again. Could not socket hang up. So towards, oh, again, I think I've passed the towards. So it has to be the notes. So note index.js, and now click on send. Now you can see that, let's see how many nodes are here. So one, two, three, and yeah, four. So there are actually five nodes created over here. I think the fifth node is added uh, over here. That was already written, and this error when I misspelled this to towards, then it was actually already updating this file. If I go to the nodes and let me go and format with the prettier. Now, if I see it, I would see there are five nodes already added over here. That's great. So you can see the ID is too lengthy, and this is the being generated by UUID. So this is how we can update the nodes object in our JSON file. All right. So this is it for the post requests. Now we are going to talk about updating a single node or getting a single node API. So in this video, let's create another route for getting a single node. But in the next video, we'll talk about updating a node from this list of nodes and also deleting the node. So let's create another route. So I'm going to copy this whole, and I'm going to paste above it, right? And it would be of get request because I want to get a single node. Okay, so when we are using over here get a single node, uh, we need to actually pass an ID in the URL over here, right? So we need to find a way that how we can get the ID over here, but it needs to be received over here. What name we should give to it? So notes, and I can give it a name slash ID, or I can give anything to it. Okay, so now ID is given, and I don't need this UUID over here, and I don't need this as well. I will need it because from this notes array, I'll be filtering out the particular node with the ID, right? So the ID that we can get from the request object is within the const ID, and it is in the request.params.id. Okay, and now I can find a particular node. So nodes dot find, and then the node, and it is going to give me the node dot underscore ID equals to ID. So this is just a JavaScript function that we can uh, find the node if the any node ID is matching with the ID being sent from that postman, okay, or any other resource who is using this API. Now this node is what we have got, and then we can also check if the node exists. That there can be a chance that this ID not related to any node which is added in this file. Okay, so in that case, this node will be empty. Okay, if this is empty, then I can return this any response over here. So I'm going to return 404 or 400, and the message should be node with this ID does not exist. Okay, and I don't need to pass any data after this, right? And if it goes well, then I can send a success response as well. So success response will be the 200 status, and the message would be success, and the data would be note, which is a single note over here, right? So now I'm going to save it and save this file as well. And let's go. Let's rerun the server, and we're going to pass the ID. Now, this is the request I've already set up. Now, if I send a wrong ID which does not exist, uh, I don't know if it is exist or not. So let's go and see. Node with this ID does not exist, right? So let's go and give this ID to that 789. Okay, now let's send. Now you can see that this 789 ID is being returned, and this is the data of this particular node. Let's try it with some bigger ID. So let's copy it, and I'm going to copy this ID over here and send. Now you can see that this is the node with this ID is being sent from that API to our front-end application. So this postman is actually behaving like a front-end application and testing all the REST APIs that we are creating in our Express server, right? So I think that is pretty much it for this video. In the next video, we'll again be proceeding with the same file, and we will be talking about how we can create update REST API and also deleting REST API using this notes.json data. Up till now, if you have liked my videos on this crash course, don't forget to subscribe my channel and give your feedback in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching.